My name is Deanne, and I am reading the Player's Handbook, the Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook 2024. We are on page 19, Exploration. Exploration involves delving into places that are dangerous and full of mystery. The rules in this section detail some of the ways adventurers interact with the environment in such places. Adventuring equipment. As adventurers explore, their equipment can help in many ways. For example, they can reach out of the way places with a ladder, perceive things they couldn't otherwise notice with a torch or other light source, bypass locked doors and containers with thieves' tools, and create obstacles for pursuers with caltrops. See Chapter 6 for rules on many items that are useful on adventures. The items in this chapter's tools and adventuring gear sections are especially useful. The weapons in the chapter can also be useful for more than battle. You can use a quarterstaff, for example, to push a sinister-looking button that you're reluctant to touch. I'd be reluctant to touch, too. Vision and light. Some adventuring tasks, such as noticing danger, hitting an enemy, and targeting certain spells, are affected by light, such as obscured vision can hinder you as explained below. Obscured areas. An area might be lightly or heavily obscured. In a lightly obscured area, such as an area with dim light, patchy fog, or moderate foliage, you have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. A heavily obscured area, such as an area with darkness, heavy fog, or dense foliage, is opaque. You have the blind condition. See the rules glossary when you're trying to see something there. Light. The presence or absence of light determines the category of illumination in an area, as defined below. Bright light. Bright light lets most creatures see normally. Even gloomy days provide bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fires, and other sources of illumination within a specific radius. Dim light. Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between bright light and the surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light. A full moon might bathe the land in dim light. Darkness. Darkness creates heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outdoors at night, even most moonlit nights, within the confines and unlit dungeon, or in an area of magical darkness. Special senses. Some creatures have special senses that help them perceive things in certain situations. The rules glossary defines the following special senses. Blind sight, dark vision, tremor sense, true sight. Hiding. Adventurers and monsters often hide, whether to spy on one another, sneak past a guardian, or set an ambush. The dungeon master decides when circumstances are appropriate for hiding. When you try to hide, you take the hide action. Interacting with objects. Interacting with objects is often simple to resolve. The player tells the DM that their character is doing something, such as moving a lever or opening a door, and the DM describes what happens. Sometimes, however, rules govern what you do with the object, as detailed in the following sections. What is an object? For the purpose of the rules, an object is a discrete inanimate item like a window, door, sword, book, table, chair, or stone. It isn't a building or a vehicle, which are composed of many objects. Time-limited objects interactions. When time is short, such as in combat, interactions with objects are limited. One free interaction per turn. That interaction must occur during a creature's movement or action. Any additional interactions require the utilization action, such explained in combat later in this chapter. Finding hidden objects. When your character searches for hidden things, such as a secret door or a trap, the DM typically asks you to make a wisdom perception check, provided you describe the character searching in the hidden object's vicinity. On a success, you find the object, other important details, or both. If you describe your character searching nowhere near a hidden object, a wisdom perception check won't reveal the object, no matter the check's total. Carrying objects. You can usually carry your gear and treasure without worrying about the weight of other objects. If you try to haul unusually heavy object or a massive number of light items, the DM might require you to abide by the rules for carrying capacity in the rules glossary. Breaking objects. As an action, you can automatically break or otherwise destroy a fragile, non-magical object, such as a glass container, a piece of paper. If you try to damage something more resilient, the DM might use the rules on breaking objects in the rules glossary. Hazards. Monsters are the main perils characters face, but other dangers await. The rules glossary defines the following hazards: burning, dehydration, falling, malnutrition, suffocation. Travel. During the adventure, the characters might travel long distances on trips that could take hours or days. The DM can summarize this travel without calculating exact distances or travel times, or the DM might have you use travel pace rules below. If you need to know how fast you can move when every second matters, see movement rules in the combat on this chapter. Box text, marching order. The adventurer should establish a marching order while they travel, whether indoors or outdoors. A marching order makes it easier to determine which characters are affected by traps, which ones can spot hidden enemies, and which ones are the closest to the enemies if a fight breaks out. Makes sense. You can change your marching order outside of combat and record the order any way you like. Write it down, for example, or arrange it in miniatures to show. Travel pace. While traveling outside of combat, a group can move at a fast, normal, or slow pace, as shown on the travel pace table. The table states how far the party can move in a period of time. If riding horses or mounts, a group can move twice as fast for 1 hour, after which the mounts need a short rest or long rest before they can move at the increased speed again. See Chapter 6 for a section on mounts for sale. The Dungeon Master's Guide has rules that affect which pace you can choose in certain types of terrain. Yes, because that makes a difference. Terrain. And we have the travel pace chart here. We have pace. We have fast is 400 feet per minute. 4 miles per hour, 30 miles per day. Normal is 300 feet per minute, 3 miles per hour, and 24 miles per day. Slow is 200 feet per minute, 2 miles per hour, and 18 miles per day. Each travel pace has the same game effect as defined below. Fast. Traveling at a fast pace imposes disadvantage on a traveler's wisdom perception or survival and dexterity stealth checks. Normal. Traveling at a normal pace imposes disadvantage on dexterity stealth checks. Slow. Traveling at a slow pace grants advantage on wisdom, perception, or stealth checks. Vehicles. Travelers in wagons, carriages, and other land vehicles choose a pace as normal. Characters in waterborne vehicles are limited to the speed of the vessel. They don't choose the travel pace. Depending on the vessel and the size of the crew, ships might be able to travel up to 24 hours per day. Chapter 6 includes vehicles for sale. Exploration example. This scene finds the player characters investigating a mysterious and potentially dangerous location. They're moving through the environment and interacting with things that they find there. Page 21. The characters are exploring Castle Ravenloft, and the DM describes the room the characters have entered. Jared as DM. A blazing hearth fire fills this room with warm light. Firelight glints off the poker beside the fireplace, and the walls are lined with ancient books. A huge painting hangs above the mantelpiece in a gilded frame. The firelight illuminates the portrait, an exact likeness of Irina Koyoliana. Philip as Gareth. How old do the paintings look? Maeve as Maribella. I'm going to check out the books. Jared. Okay, I'll get to those in a second. Russell and Amy, what are your characters doing? Russell as Shreve. I stand near the door, sword drawn, ready for danger. This place is creepy. Amy as Uthul. I go near the fireplace. A warm fire sounds nice, but I'm also alert for danger. Jared. Got it. Okay, Philip. Please make an intelligence history check as Gareth looks at the painting. Philip. I don't have proficiency in history, but here goes. I got, a 20 for a total of 20. Jared. The things leap out at Gareth. About the painting. First, the woman's clothes looked old-fashioned. Second, the painting is flaking in places, and the whole thing is covered with a thin layer of soot. You'd say this painting is a few centuries old. Philip. So maybe an ancestor of Irina's? Unless she's already a vampire and this bitten by Shrod thing is a ruse. Jared. Who knows? Now, Mirabelle is looking at the books. Mirabelle. Yeah, I pulled one off the shelf at random. Backstacks. Everyone is accounted for. Exploration is open-ended. The players don't take turns moving around the dungeon the way we do in combat. But the DM frequently checks in to make sure it's clear where everyone is and what they're doing. Teamwork matters. The player characters are working towards a common goal. They move together, though the dungeon cooperate to overcome its challenges. When characters enter the room, they explore different parts of the room. When Arturo finds a secret door behind the fireplace later in the example, they come together again to examine it, and Gareth figures out how to bypass the fire. It might seem that Russell's character wasn't doing much, but Shreve was protecting the group by guarding the door. Worth rolling with or without proficiency. You usually have a chance of success on an ability check, even if you don't have proficiency in a relevant skill. For example, Philip gets a 20 without proficiency. The D20 brings many surprises to the game. Surprises that the DM then interprets. Jared. It's a book written in common called on the habitations of the divine in the celestial and infernal realms. Russell, did you just make that up? Jared, I'll never tell. As you flip through the book, you notice it's very academic, almost impenetrable. Maeve, okay, I put that one back and I pull out another. Jared, are Shreve and Arturo doing anything else? Amy, I grab the poker at the log and poke at the logs in the fire. Jared, as you lift the poker, you hear a grinding sound in the back of the fireplace. Slides to the side, revealing a room behind it. Amy, oh, folks, I found something. Can I see anything beyond the room? Jared, past the flames and smoke, you see a glimmering pile of coins heaped near a chest. Amy, anybody have a quick way to put out the fire? Philip, and you laughed at me for preparing, create, or destroy water. I clutch my holy symbol and cast a spell, drenching the fireplace. Jared, great. What does the spell's description say? Philip, it causes 10 gallons of water to rain down a 30-foot cube, extinguishing flames there. Jared, that puts out the fire. Without the light from the hearth, you're back to the magic glow of Shreve's sword, which casts your shadows into the room beyond. But you can see through the clouds of lingering smoke. A closed chest on the floor surrounded by piles of coins. There are 2 torch sconces on the far wall, one holding an unlit torch with an intricate metal base, the other empty. A skeleton in broken plate mail is lying against that wall, with one hand at its throat and the other holding a matching torch from the empty sconce. Amy, I check out the chest. Jared, and the rest of you? Philip. Gareth enters and looks at the skeleton. Maeve, I keep watch on this side of the fireplace. Russell, I'm still back by the first door. Jared, Amy, the chest seems expertly made, with elegant fittings and clawed feet. Amy, I try to open it. Is it locked? Jared, it's not locked, and it opens easily. And it releases a cloud of sweet-smelling gas. Amy, oh no. Jared, oh yes. And I need Arturo and Gareth to make Constitution saving throws. Amy, sorry, Phil. I got an 8. Philip, and a 5 for Gareth. Jared, as you draw this gas into your lungs, you feel a chill grip you. Your body stiffens. You both have the paralyzed condition. Finding hidden objects. Adventure environments are full of secrets, traps, concealed doors, loose floorboards, and hidden treasures. Characters often use wisdom checks to find things. See the search action in the rules glossary. But sometimes they stumble into them accidentally, as Arturo did here. Casting spells. Many characters have the ability to cast spells, which have a huge variety of effects. Some spells are mostly useful in combat, by dealing damage or imposing conditions. Other spells have utility in exploration. If you're playing a spellcaster, look for a mix of combat effective and utilitarian spells to help deal with a variety of challenges. Know your spells. Have your player's handbook open to the description of the spell before you cast it. Don't expect the DM to know how your spell works and to be ready to answer any questions about it. Vision and light. The DM determines what adventures adventurers can perceive, which means be aware of light sources, like the leaping of flames in the fireplace and Shreve's glowing sword, as well as obscuring factors like smoke and fog. See vision and light earlier in this chapter for more information. Saving throws. A saving throw is used to see whether a creature avoids or resists something. When the chest releases toxic gas, Philip's and Amy's characters make Constitution saving throws. Constitution is one of the 6 abilities that measure creatures' capabilities, and it has to do with health and stamina. When they fail their saves, the gas causes them to have the paralyzed condition. See conditions later in this chapter for more information. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying this. Like, subscribe, and next time we will continue on to page 23, chapter 1, combat. Till next time.